I am joined by Robert Griffin III, James White, Field Yates Neenekeims.
All right, so first play we're going to look at 2nd and 2, one of the Patriots' first offensive plays.
So let's talk about Keion White, because that dude balled out on Sunday. 4 tackles, 2.5 sacks. Got a nice Brian Baldy breakdown. That's always a good thing when the national media is talking about you. He doesn't lead the league in sacks because Greg Rousseau notched 3 for the Bills, but he's right there, 2.5. He was awesome. They moved him around, all formation. So Taylor, what stood out with you, Keion? First play here. He's in a 5-tech. He then moves to a 9 after the running back motion's over. So they kind of kick. There we go. Jelani moves over. Keion moves out to a 9, basically goes one-on-one against Trent Brown and beats him. So what'd you see here, and what'd you see from Keion the rest of the game?
Yeah, so this does highlight the flexibility of this defense. Like, yep. I showed it in the offseason, but the ability to go from an odd 5 down front, where Jelani Tavai, the adjuster, is on the line of scrimmage and you have Keion White inside, they have the flexibility to say, okay, instead of so what this look is, if the running back is opposite the tight end, you're expecting some kind of inside zone from the shotgun because you're not going to run a gap scheme away from the tight end really unless it's some kind of trickery. So by flipping this way, I don't know exactly what the tell is, but the Patriots are saying, all right, we're probably better off in an even 4 down front. So one, really cool that they have the ability to do this on any play because not a lot of defenses do. So what we're going to see from Keion White, making old teammate Trent Brown look a little bit silly. He and Josh Uche gave Trent Brown the work in this game. Huge strip sack. Unfortunately, the Patriots, did they actually recover this? No, they didn't recover this. I think Joe Burrow fell on it, but still, this was very close to being a massive impact play, and it still was, obviously, because it was a sack. So what we're going to see from Keion White here is he is going to – also, I want to highlight the fact that Keion White has acknowledged he's not great at rushing outside. Really, he's better at attacking inside and disrupting the pocket. I asked him after the game if he felt like he was getting better, and he was like, yeah, I had the inside win against he didn't say Trent Brown, but I had that inside win, but, you can always get better. So he's going to set Trent Brown up outside. Trent Brown is going to try to get his hands on him to stop this outside rush. Basically, if Keion was trying to get around the edge, Trent Brown, not great position, as you can see. This is not ideal. You want to be a little bit more upright and balanced. And now you see the Trent Brown's lunging, but still, if Keion White had gone around the edge, he could have at least gotten his hands around White to try to move him around the pocket.
Yeah, and then Burrow steps up and they're fine. They're clean.
Exactly. What he does instead is see this inside opening right here, and then he's going to throw a nasty club move. Completely embarrassed Trent Brown, poor guy.
Look at Trent.
Not even club, double swipe.
Look at Trent's hand come back like, no.
Oh, no. Wait. I'm not done with you yet.
Oh, that's good stuff.
You heard about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Yeah. But great win from Keion White, taking advantage of that inside rush lane. Then not only getting to the quarterback, but seeing the ball and attacking the ball. Another example that Kyle Duggar talked about with his forced fumble. He said, DeMarcus Covington, we heard from Armand Watts when he was on the team this spring, he talked about how DeMarcus Covington wanted more sacks and he wanted more turnovers. Now that I think about it, I should have quote tweeted this play when I used that quote because it makes way more sense than Kyle Duggar's play because it's a sack and a turnover. But this is one of the emphases that they've had in practice where Gerard Mayo has said you need to attack the ball every single play, even the more routine plays. And Duggar mentioned that emphasis has helped him a lot, and it made it easier to see the opportunities where the ball is out. I think the Bengals fumbled 4 times in this game, and that was a huge testament to the Patriots having the wherewithal to be able to attack. So one more time, double swipe move to beat Trent Brown inside, see ball, get ball.
Yep.
Sack.
Great. And I love the ability, I guess the flexibility too, to not just be a one-dimensional rusher and not just be like, I just run the outside and I run the outside that's not Keion's game anyway, but like some guys are strictly like, get myself outside this tackle as fast as I can. Where Keion is like, okay, I don't have it. Trent's in bad position. I read that, I go inside, and it's game over. So good stuff from a second-year player too to be able to do that against. Yeah, Trent Brown hasn't been great the last couple of years, but that's still a veteran presence who's played a lot of football.
Oh yeah, I also think that this may have been intentional by Keion because when you see the tight end, you're probably expecting some kind of chip help. So I don't know if his plan was to get inside. We can obviously ask him that in the locker room, so we're 100% sure. But like the way that he comes off the ball, it feels like he's hesitant. Because look, he gets
that's a good point.
then hesitates, and then gets around him. Also, good job by Anthony Jennings, by the way, on the opposite edge. One sec. Let me get my highlight tool. On the opposite edge, collapsing the pocket against Orlando Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Nice job there.
That's a pass rush. Like,
that's what
that's
you want from Jennings.
Yeah.
Like, when he's not slanting inside, which is really where most of his pass success comes from, you want him condensing the pocket because he's a powerful guy. So really good teamwork from those two guys on the strip sack.
Yep. All right. That's Keion from the outside, but there's also some plays for him. 3 tech standing right now on the next one. I like, and we're going to get to it because the next one he's in a stance, but I like the ability for them to allow him to do both. But I do have a question that I genuinely don't know the answer to. Why and what's the difference between him being hand in the ground versus standing up? Does it matter? Does it throw the defense off? Is it more comfortable for him? Why do they switch that up?
Good question. Write that down. We're going to ask him this week in the locker room.
Perfect. Because, I didn't know if you knew, because it's kind of, some guys do it. JJ Watt did it a lot, where he would be basically in a 0 or a 1 and still doesn't have his hand on the ground. I didn't know if it screws up the running backs, the defense, or the offense rather. So I'm curious on why they do it. But
I think that when you have your hand in the dirt, because you're firing off the ball, I think it just is a more aggressive rush where obviously, like, the guys who have really good body control and are more nuanced, they can use that to set things up. And, you know, it's not just a speed move or just speed to power. But when you have your hands out of the dirt, obviously your hands are more accessible. Right. So I think it's a little bit easier for you to combat guys like that. But honestly, it's a good question. One that, you know, you think about sometimes, but you're not really sure. Like, it also, it's a comfort thing for some guys. Like, some players are just much more comfortable with a hand in the dirt than they are standing up, and vice versa. So let's run this play through real quick. Another sack. And this one, I mean, there's just a whole defensive meeting in the backfield here. A lot of guys deserve credit for this snap right here. Like, you got Uche winning around the edge. You got a twist here from Juwan Bentley, and Dietrich Wise gets home right there. And then Daniel Akwale basically just making sure that he's reading the quarterback and getting home there. Just devastating rep from Patriots. But specifically Keion White. So what he's going to do here is he's going to surge upfield and, again, threaten that outside shoulder of Alex Kappa. Yep. And then he's going to use that speed that he generates, turn it into power, get inside his chest, walk him back, and then finish by crashing inside. Obviously not the cleanest rep, but still, Kappa is so desperate, he actually ends up kind of throwing Keion White into his quarterback. Obviously not at all intentional, but that's what happens when you have an explosive athlete like Keion White against an interior lineman who doesn't see this kind of athletic profile very often. And this role that they used Keion White in reminded me a lot of how they used Dante Hightower, Jamie Collins, sometimes Kyle Van Noy, where you kick those guys inside, you use them on line games, or you find the interior rusher that has the most trouble with atypical athletes for that position, and you basically just spam it. And this is one weakness that the Patriots clearly identified with Alex Kappa versus Keion White, because we saw this matchup a couple times. But once again, speed to power, walk him back. Everybody's doing their job. There's nowhere for Joe Burrow to go. And then Keion ends up splitting the sack with Juwan Bentley, who does a nice job occupying 2 blockers for a brief moment, giving Dietrich Wise a little bit of a lane in there. Collapse in the pocket.
It's good stuff. And you mentioned the fact that they exploited that matchup with Alex Kappa. And on the next play we're going to watch, he actually forces a double team out of them. Zach Moss moves up from being parallel with Joe Burrow into essentially like a personal protector role and forces them to, if you want to go to the next one. Sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, no, you're good. That's fine. I was just say on this play. So on this play, the running back is in blitz pickup. So he sees Kyle Duggar coming downhill. Oh my God, am I doing this on the right screen? I am. Sorry, this is so confusing. I'm operating from 2 screens. Work in progress. I don't really know what Kyle Duggar's doing, to be honest. That's
me either. It looks like, what was that?
I don't know.
Because he had a free rush onto Burrow right there. And I guess Moss would have gotten his way, but
you think he would at least try to like put him in Burrow's lap or something. But that's a very odd rep from Kyle Duggar.
Yeah. But regardless, Moss
looks like he knows it too. Look, slaps his hands together. Yeah, he's like, I don't know what I was doing there. But all right, so here's the other play.
Here we go. Yeah.
Alex Kappa. This time, instead of a stand-up, really inside linebacker type, Keion White is actually going to be more of a defensive tackle. This is a double mug front, so you're going to have Juwan Bentley and Kyle Duggar both on the inside. And the idea here is, they're going to have so they're going to use a running back as a sniffer. A sniffer is basically when you move the running back up to account for these double mug looks because the center is going to take one person and then the running back takes the other. But what this does is create one-on-one matchups. So what you're going to see is you're going to get a one-on-one here, 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 and here. And then I don't remember where the center goes. I think he's going to go to Duggar. Would make more sense if he goes to Bentley. I'm not sure which happens, but one of these guys is going to take one of these interior guys. So you're getting one-on-one matchups in an obvious passing situation. That's what every defense is really trying to do in third and long. But then the Patriots actually end up popping out. So they show 6. They only send 4. But the Bengals have 6 in protection, right? Yep. So this gives the Patriots a huge coverage advantage on the back end, but it doesn't even matter because Keion White is going to attack. Now, see?
He splits both of them. Yep.
Well, outside hesitation, Alex Kappa tries to shoot his hands. Keion White uses a club, which is when you use your hand to basically swap that elbow. You see that?
Yep.
Keion White's inside hand swipes the elbow. He's going to use his outside hand, Keion White, to rip through the block and finish. Then the running back's like, oh, shit, I should probably help out here because I have nobody to block. But Keion White says, nah, buddy, sorry, too late. I'm flushing your quarterback. Now, this is not an effective play because I'm not sure if Josh Uche thought that Keion was going to go around and he was going to loop inside. It looks like that's what he's anticipating. But at the same time, Josh Uche did have a bit of a problem last season where he would kind of crash inside or go too far upfield and give quarterbacks that lane. Line games were pretty effective for the Patriots, but chemistry is huge on those because if you mess it up, you have 2 guys going in the same gap or the same direction, and then you have a wide open lane. And obviously, Joe Burrow exploits that here. This drive ended up with Kyle Duggar's forced fumble, so it didn't cost the Patriots. But obviously, on this play, he's able to get outside the pocket because Joshua Uche crashed inside and deliver a throw off schedule. But again, those are 3 straight examples of, and I'll play it one more time, Keion White showing his versatility once as that true stand-up outside linebacker type like a Matthew Judon. Another time is more of a Dante Hightower, Jamie Collins type, which is notable because the Patriots have tried that with Uche. They tried it with Matt Judon. It didn't really take. Judon, I don't think, had really the maybe the movement skills that – I don't really want to say that. He's a very good athlete, obviously, but it just wasn't a very good fit for him.
Didn't work out, right.
It didn't really work. Joshua Uche just isn't really big enough, so if those guards get a hand on him or they stab him hard enough, it kind of kills the rush. But Keion White, he's a bit of that tweener type, but he's explosive and he's crazy powerful, and he's also sturdier than you'd expect for a guy who can also line up outside. So he's able to do stuff like this and just completely wreck the interior.
It was awesome. Again, 2.5 sacks for White on Sunday, getting some national recognition, like I mentioned. And he's really going to, without, you lose Matthew Judon or you trade Matthew Judon, you lose Christian Barmore. You lose a ton of pass rush flexibility, both inside and outside. And the fact that he can do both so efficiently and really wreak havoc on one of the better offenses, at least we thought in football, and make Joe Burrow's life hell in that backfield. An awesome start to this season. Really, 2 guys, Christian Gonzalez and Keion White on the defense. Second-year leaps, sophomore season, balled out on Sunday. Great start of the season for those guys. So we're going to wrap this.
Credit to him. Gerard Mayo mentioned it in the spring. It's not really news to us, but DeMarcus Covington reiterated that he is stepping up as a leader as well. And he's someone they were like, hey, he needs to take that leap, like you mentioned. So not only the fact that he's doing it on the field, but for a guy who is he's quiet to us. And I think he's a quiet personality, but at the same time, he's also a guy who clearly is willing to step up and speak up when he feels he needs to, especially with all the young guys that are on this defense. That's huge. So I wanted to give him a shout out there as well, doing it on and off the field.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Covington talked about it. They wanted to be a leader this season, communicate as well, right on the field and stuff like that. So he's really, he's doing it so far. So good stuff from Keion.
Support us and sign up at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the app today and use code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5.